In today's video, I want to talk about this chart that I posted on Twitter. A comparison of 2017, how the structure of the parabolic trend is actually lining up right with what we're seeing now, today in 2024. I also want to discuss Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, becoming a true Bitcoin believer as stated today. And the recent news with Donald Trump almost being killed and how people are saying the Trump pump is starting. All of this and more in today's video. In its own unique way, this is one of the craziest times I've ever experienced in terms of political events, news, and the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, stated today that he's a full-blown Bitcoin believer.
I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. And if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios.
And in the last video on this channel, we were discussing the bullish signals that were showing up for Bitcoin, and you can see that what we were expecting is now playing out as we speak. A breakout took place because this is the downtrend that stems back to the end of June. And if you look, Bitcoin broke out just the other day, but when did that happen? Well, this was the hour that gunshots rang off at the Trump rally, 6:11, and that's when the gunfire erupts. Right here was the initial news where Donald Trump had been possibly killed, right? Because people were just seeing headlines. People just saw the Secret Service jumping on Donald Trump. But quickly they realized he survived, and then you saw a huge pump. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to get angry. Kev, why are you talking about Trump? Guys, this is the news. We haven't seen anything like that for 40 years. And it's actually important to discuss these things because this is changing the sentiment. That's a whole topic in of itself, but it is having an impact everywhere. Now, looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, we can see that the RSI has currently had a double breakout. And this is exactly what we discussed in the last video. We were talking about the RSI, how we were near a breakout. And if we broke that RSI, we would likely tag the next downward sloping resistance line. And we've actually broken out of both of those so far. This daily candle has to close still, but this is looking like a technical bullish breakout, a trend reversal, a bullish reversal. Now, there's still work to do. We're not really close to the highs just yet. We're technically just sort of in the range. And so we've had that RSI oversold with bullish divergence on the MACD and the RSI, and we are getting this bounce that I depicted, what was this, on July 9th, starting to play out. And usually when we hit the oversold zone, we test at least towards, near, or above the all-time high. And that brings me to this. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are gonna roll your eyes. They're gonna go, Kev, you already talked about this. Stop beating the dead horse. Hear me out. In 2017, there were multiple phases of the parabolic trend where you would have a shorter term parabolic trend that would then break down into a larger one. And then it would do it again, break down into a larger trend. And then eventually you had a major vertical run towards the end. And right now in 2024, we're sitting in the same position. There's no reason why this couldn't happen. What we need is just a renewed sense of optimism, and we need to regain momentum. Now, I have this chart up on here, and this is not showing a peak price prediction, right? I'm not focused on the peak price. I'm just looking at the structure of this trend and just focusing on spotting structure being formed. But just remember, this is exactly like 2017, even now, even with that recent pullback. And I want to show you guys something with the RSI on the weekly chart. If you look at the beginning of 2023, when we had that initial part of the parabola with a breakdown, we found support right around the 46, or you could say the 45 level on the weekly RSI. And we just bounced off of that level again. And look at what Bitcoin just did, a breakdown, 45 on the RSI, possibly expand again. The behavior is pretty much the same on both of these zones, so I don't see why this couldn't happen. It's happened before for Bitcoin. We've seen crazier things happen for Bitcoin in past cycles. So this could just be a zone of expansion of the trend, and that's something that we've discussed many times. And I'm just trying to open up your guys' minds to the possibility that maybe that's exactly what's happening now. And once again, I'm not predicting a peak price right now. I'm just talking about the structure, the signals coming from the indicators. The weekly MACD right now is starting to show that bearish momentum is decreasing, that bullish momentum is starting to pick up. And if that is the case, guys, I mean, when we have these weekly MACD histogram turnarounds, that's normally where the price is getting tremendous speed. Same thing at this point when the MACD came down to the neutral zone but didn't cross down, that signaled major momentum. We actually mentioned that ahead of time on this channel, and that brought us to new highs. Right now, we may be looking for the MACD to start giving us that bullish momentum to bring us back towards a cross up. And if that is the case, we're going to be going to new highs in price. So that is what I'm seeing right now. And I hope you guys can see that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Comment below with your thoughts. Sign up for Kraken Pro using that link below. And be sure to join the Patreon. We do have an annual discount, save 16%. You're gonna get the most out of it by connecting to the Discord. You can only get in the Discord by being a member of Patreon. And in there, you're gonna see all my altcoin picks, the new portfolio that I started in last November, giving everyone a chance to build their portfolios alongside that newly created one. If that's something that interests you, be sure to join the Patreon today. And I'll see you guys in the next video.